Welcome. Happy Friday and the end of this week going into our Mother's Day weekend. Have this wonderful mother joining me, Dr. Christine Wachira. Welcome.
Hello. Hi. How are you? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Thank you all for
Joining
joining us.
us. So, we are live on Zoom as well as Facebook Live. Giving a second for some folks to join us.
I'm going to do my due diligence and share the Zoom link for those of you that are on Facebook Live.
And the Zoom link, I'm going to share it, and actually I can share it right now too. Hold on. Hey.
So for those of you joining us today, it is the Wachira Safari Wine Club. We're going to be learning a little bit.
Hold on. I'm actually going to put this invite, copy the URL, get rid of that, go back. That's the Zoom as well. Hey. And I think we're actually on the page. What's your wine's page? Mm-hmm. Not the group. I might have messed up on that one.
Do you want to make it to
the group? I don't have to. It's on. It's What's Your Wines is live. This is the page.
Okay.
So it makes it easier. Hey. So we're gonna do some wine education. Wine education. Go over our wine safari. The white wine safari. Only our white wines on our safari that we're gonna go over today. Then we're also going to do some wine education, some wine trivia, some free bottles. And if you're in the local area, those free bottles, if you win the trivia, we'll get them to you before Mother's Day. Answer some questions. Be here for you and just understand what you're drinking in comparison to these and fueling your questions about our Chardonnay, our Muscat, and our Sparkling and why they're different. And have the wonderful winemaker just go through it with you. And, have some nice background music. We do not own the rights to this music. It is only for background, so Facebook doesn't cut us off.
Right.
So We do not have the rights to this music. It is only for background. So welcome. And we're happy that you're joining us and look forward to getting your questions, your feedback, and everything else. So,
As I'm excited about this part of our sort of online programming because we've had to pivot to doing things live on on Zoom and Facebook because of the social distancing. We're typically doing a lot of pop-ups and festivals and sort of in corporate and in-home tastings for folks. So it's nice to have these options so we can stay connected with you and engage with those of you who've not had our varietals before, but also reconnect with those of you who've tasted our wines. I'm especially excited about our Friday sessions because we get to, talk to you about our products, and we get to connect on a wine level. So for those of you who are avid wine drinkers, then we can speak notes and bouquets and flavor profiles and all that good stuff. For those of you who are not avid wine drinkers, then you get to learn something new, right? And you get to learn something not only about the varietals that are in each bottle, but also about us as a company and who we are and what we stand for, and our goal about build using wine to build community and to connect.
yes.
So I'm excited about that. We just have that ability to reach out to a lot more people around the country, sometimes around the world,
Around the
because
world.
these are viewed in different parts of the world. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm very excited about that.
And we welcome some of you. That's why we put the Zoom link out there as well, because if you just want to get on with us and share a little bit about your story about wine and how your journey of wine has gone so far, and if you're a winemaker, if you're some, if you're just a general wine drinker, if you're just someone who hasn't drank wine before and you're just about starting, doesn't matter. Um, People like seeing people, and this is how we're connecting outside of being able to see face to face. And this is a virtual face to face, and we'd love to see you.
Right.
So join us either Facebook Live or on the Zoom, but feel free to just be you, because I'm gonna be me.
Ask us questions. So I have the comment section open to my left here. So if you ask us a question, we'll be able to respond to you in real time.
On Facebook and or Zoom. If we read the questions on either one, doesn't matter. We'll see them, and we look forward to having you on us. So, what we're gonna do today? I'm gonna have a start with the buffalo of the wine safari.
Right.
So, as you tell us about the buffalo, and I'm gonna start us with our white wine glass. So we have three different glasses. Let's go
That's
back
what I was
there.
gonna
We
do.
have three different glasses.
Talk about it, yes.
So we do a little bit of educational glass. So we have a white wine glass. There's also another white wine, but actually it has more of a sweet glass, but not a small aperitif glass. So I have it's a little bit different than the white wine glass. And then I have a bubbly glass, so a flute. So for each of our different wines we're doing today, we're going to have the appropriate glass with it.
So you talked about an aperitif when you mentioned the middle glass. You want to talk to them about what that is? What's the difference between that
And a digestive?
and a digestive? Yes. Yes.
Um, it ranges. Aperitif is more of like a dessert wine. For me, it's more of a dessert wine, and where it's classified, it's sweeter wines. Um, you know, port, sauternes, late harvest Rieslings, Auslese Spätlese for Germans and Austrian, late harvest Rieslings, ice wines out of Canada and other places as well. Um, and you tend to not have them as in a higher quantities as you have other wines because of the sugar content.
Right.
And then a digestive tends to be more herbal, like a Fernet and your herbal drinks that you help you digest food or get your digestion running and kind of settle you at the end of a night of long drinking or a lot of eating. So those tend to be smaller. We have some, but I just feel like bringing them out.
So you would typically have served that wine. So one would be typical. So either one of them would be served at different times of a meal.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
You can go over that real quick while I'm pouring your glass.
Yeah, no, I was thinking. So the aperitif you typically serve it before at the start of the dining experience, right? And then for the digestive, you serve it at the end, at the tail end of the dining experience. And again, like Chad mentioned, they serve different, um, what's the word I'm looking for?
Purposes.
Purposes, yes. They serve different purposes in your dining continuum. So what he served right now is the Chardonnay. The Wachira Chardonnay is also the buffalo in our wine safari. And if you're new to our wine varietals, Wachira Wines has 5 varietals, and each of them feature one of the big 5 of the African safari on the front of the label. I am Kenyan American. I have a deep appreciation for my dual heritage, and so I have a deep, deep love for my home country, Kenya, and that's the safari on each of our bottles, one of the big 5. And so the Chardonnay gives a shout out to the buffalo, and it's the buffalo because of the social nature of the buffalo in the world, in the wild, right? So they move around in herds, and they are very protective of each other. We had an experience. I actually took my family out on safari in Kenya, and they got to experience, right, the wrath of the
Mm-hmm.
buffalo in distress. So
Yes.
the herd comes for you if you do try one of them.
We kind of
So
lucky that
they,
day.
they are very protective of each other. So the buffalo is sort of the opener of the Wachira Wine Safari, known for its vibrancy, for its beautiful straw color.
Mhm. And the social nature of the buffalo, like she said, they
Right.
come for you. They stay together. They cover a large expansive area of the savannah. So, just like our Chardonnay covers a large expansive area of cuisines, it's a not your typical Chardonnay. Is a Chardonnay that will cover a large expansive area of cuisines, and it's not going to be too buttery, not going to be too dry. It takes you back to the Chardonnays of old California that were not too buttery, not too drastically in any direction. So that's why literally 60% of the people that don't like Chardonnays that try our Chardonnay like it.
Right.
And that's why I like it, because it's very well balanced. And that's why I say that California wine with a Kenyan accent
Right.
is about balance.
It's about balance. It absolutely is. It's about balance, and it's about quality. Because the one thing we don't do is we do not hinge on the quality of the wines we serve in these bottles. The name on the front of the bottle is Wachira. That's my family name. And when I put that name on a bottle, it stands for quality. I would not put my family name on a bottle that I would think would be mediocre. So when you look at the wine, so the thing about white wines is, unlike reds, as they age, as white wine ages, it gets darker in color, right? So you can tell how old, a white wine is based on the color, and you can also tell, I mean, how long it was aged and how long it's been in the bottle. So our wines are we bottle them pretty young, and that's intentional, just to maintain sort of that fruit forwardness. But the Chardonnay specifically has both um, steel and oak barrel. And what that does is it gives you a really nice balance of that sort of buttery creme brulee, vanilla cream sort of taste that you'd associate with a Chardonnay. But it also balances it out very nicely because it has that sort of acid complex that you get from the steel barreling. So it's really, really well rounded, very well balanced,
Mm-hmm.
very pretty in the color. So, Marcel, what are you drinking? Thank you for joining us. What are you having tonight? So, each of our varietals are crafted to stand on their own. So, you can sip it by itself, or you can pair it with a meal. And what this you can pair with a lot of fish dishes, um, salmon. You can do lobster tail. You can do lobster. A lot of pastas, especially if they're creamy. This pairs very well with that. Because of that sort of the sort of a nice acid balance, you will get it cuts, for lack of a better term, it cuts the sort of the butteriness or the richness of a creamy sauce when you do pastas, or if you are serving a nice sort of rich salmon. it pairs very well with that. And so that's our Chardonnay. It's the Buffalo in the Safari. It typically retails for $30 a bottle. And what we did is we just had a flash sale. So every Wednesday we have a flash sale, and this past Wednesday we featured the Chardonnay, and we had it going for 19.99. But it would typically go for $30. We have a Mother's Day special, M Day 20, going right now. So all of you that want to try these varietals can have them in your own homes, and can also send a bottle to mom if you want to. With the social distancing, if you're not close to your mom and you want to send her something special, send her one of Wachira bottles. Cheers. So I'm gonna pace myself a little bit here. Chadwick is a little bit heavy-handed on the chorus, so I'm gonna pace myself a little bit and wait for a couple more of you to join us, so we can all enjoy this sort of wine education together.
But while they're waiting,
Mm-hmm.
so Marcel asked a question yesterday about a typical pairings with a Chardonnay.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in Chinatown.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a chashaba, pork bun,
Okay.
but it's a breakfast one that has like a kind of a sweet sugar coating on it,
Okay.
and they're phenomenal. So I'm gonna cut it
Okay.
on Oakland Chinatown, and it's a very meaty pork bowl.
Do you like a fork?
No,
No. Okay.
I like it sticky. So here's
All
the
right.
here's the pork bun.
Mm-hmm.
It has like a little sugar
It's
cutter
very pretty on the
on it,
inside.
and we're gonna eat with our fingers.
I think I'll
Well,
Hi, Malkia. How are you? It's nice to see you. Thank you for joining us.
and I'm gonna have it with
I think I'm
the
going
Chardonnay.
to. I'm
You gonna
going.
pass?
I'm going to temporarily pass.
What she's not saying is, Xiao Bao is not her thing. So, she's evolved since we've been together with the Chinese food,
I've
but
come a long way.
a long way. But I can't push it. I can't push it.
Okay.
But I will have this with the Chardonnay, and it's gonna be phenomenal. Mm.
So our Chardonnay again, it pairs really well, and I'm sure the reason why you like. I'm curious about how that presents on the palate.
Mm.
'Cause
Very
things
nice.
that are nice and sort of creamy, rich in profile, I think they go very well with the Chardonnay.
And the pork fat in there, and the red sauce is kind of a slightly sweet barbecue,
Hmm.
and the pork bun is really it's kind of like almost like a donut over like sweet and sour pork almost. So it's really good. I like it.
Nice. So when you're checking
Chow shaba.
no, we're talking about the color of the wine. So you're supposed to have it, I get to check it against a white surface, and that will give you sort of the clarity of the wine and the richness of the color.
Uh,
So Malkia, join us.
oh, but Marcel said he's not drinking anything right now. But cheer cab shortly. Okay. Mm. Malika, thank you for joining, Malika.
Malkia.
Malkia. Okay. I need to put my glasses on. Where are my glasses at?
It's not even the glasses so much. It's that he's so getting accustomed to our Kenyanese names.
Yeah, that too.
So learning.
All right.
I'm waiting for a couple more of you to join so we can have some conversations about the wines,
Chardonnay.
about
So,
what you like.
what kind of
What we're
Chardonnays do you like?
featuring.
What are the
Yeah.
brands that you like? Have you tried our Chardonnay? Um, what have you tried Chardonnays with? That's my question, because Chris nor I ascribe to that whole thing of you have to have this with that. So our Chardonnay really goes well, I think, with not just chicken but with pork for me. Um, and char with like sweetness and a little bit of the that porkiness to it. The Chardonnay is like perfect. I don't know. If you've not had a chow shabao in a pork bun, whatever you want to call it, if you have not had a pork bun, get one. Chinatown, It's right off of Webster and 10th on the corner. Red awning. Can't remember the name right now. I'll post it as soon as I remember it. Hey.
So I think what I would love to do is to hear from a couple of the folks. I want to know what other Chardonnays you've had. If you still drink Chardonnays, which ones you prefer. Do you find like Chardonnays from different wine regions have, some different presentations, which should be the case, and also the variance in the winemaking techniques. So our Chardonnay, the grapes are from Lodi and Paso Robles, and we have sort of multi-year contracts with different farmers, and so we do get a nice blend of grapes from different farms, and so different terroirs, and so different notes and flavor profiles. And so this our wines are very all our wines are very tropical in presentation. Again, which is very me because I do love that tropical fruits, those hints of passion fruit and pear. I love those pineapple, banana. So I love those sort of fruit notes in the wines that I craft. So
And I
that's
get
what,
banana
yeah,
from the
that's,
Chard.
that's the one thing you'll find across all our wines, those tropical notes.
Sorry, I'm a heavy pour.
Okay, I'll suffer through it. The one I'll encourage you to be a little
Heavy on.
heavier on is our next wine.
Mm-hmm.
So tonight we're featuring the Chardonnay, the Wachira Black Label Chardonnay, which is also the Buffalo in the Safari.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next wine,
It is a
the
lion.
roll, is the Lion. We are doing the Muscat.
Next one is the Muscat, but the final one is the sparkling, which is the lion of the safari. This is what Cheer Wines, the lion. Ah. The next unofficial wine of Wakanda. Unofficial. So we're now opening the unofficial wine of Wakanda. Why is it the unofficial wine of Wakanda?
I'll let him walk you through that. No, you do it so well. Please do.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
All right. So, three different reasons why it's the unofficial wine of Wakanda. Number one, the animal of the big five that the Muscat is the what? It's the leopard. The leopard,
He's having way too much fun.
yes. If you didn't know, a Black Panther. What is a Black Panther? Yes, it's a panther. Yes, it's a cat. I mean, all the top reasons I get, top answers I get. It's a cat. It's a leopard.
He's a wild cat.
It's a wild cat. It's a panther. Um, it's a movie. But a Black Panther in Africa and Asia is actually a black variant of a leopard. A Black Panther in America, South America, and North America is either a puma or a jaguar. So there is a difference between a African Black Panther. So the African Black Panther, the Black Panther of the movie, does have spots. If you remember, he had like little, kind of spots and separations of the kind of like scales in the Black Panther outfit, right? However, a Black Panther does have spots. It's a black variant. So if you Google Black Panther and look at them in captivity in zoos, there's one in San Diego Zoo, I think. You can actually see them at night under the lights, and you see the actual outlines of their actual spots. So that's number one. Number two, that W. See our label at the top of your screen. You see that the black, the red, the black, the green, the C, which is red, and the H is the gold. The bond that binds us is the Kenyan flag colors and the American flag. Her dual heritage of Kenya and America. But on this one, we see a gold W. Sticks. Make it simple, doesn't it? The W is Wachira forever, Wakanda forever. In what was your philosophy behind wine?
To be all encompassing, for lack of a better term, to be communal, to be uplifting, to build and bridge community, to bridge divides, to be that conversation starter. So that's
And
what
if
it
you
is.
think about the movie Black Panther and Wakanda itself, you had multiple different tribes that came together in Wakanda. And they were trying to bridge that divide between that American son, that lost son that was in America, to the African heritage that he had. They wanted to bring him back in, but he had his own alternative modes. But ultimately, everybody wanted to come back together, bridge that bridge, create that community. Therefore, that W, Wachira forever, Wakanda forever. There we go. Now, where on the map of the continent of Africa did they put the fictional place Wakanda?
Do you want me to say it?
Go ahead.
Well, he says it's in Kenya.
Nope, not anymore.
Where is it?
Rift Valley,
It's in the Rift Valley.
but it's an area encompassing three different countries: Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya.
Okay.
And I don't know any Ugandan or Tanzanian winemakers, and you're the only Kenyan American winemaker in the country. So if there's some Ugandan, Tanzanian winemakers out there, hit us up because we'll carry you on if you're here. All right, let us know. But until then, she is the only one. Therefore, unofficial wine of Wakanda. There we go. Those are my three reasons.
Okay.
Now, other reason, this is our starter wine. So most people start with sweet, and then at the same time, I started with sweet. So it's not too sweet, but yet it's not dry. It is our universal wine that will help bring community. So if you don't like sweet, we have a lot of people that don't like sweet that actually like this wine. And people that like sweet that actually, you can go to our YouTube and see some of the videos we have where people say, wow, that is the number one reaction we get when people try this wine is wow. And it's because it's a well balanced sweet wine.
And the other reason is the Corbin is right up there. It is only 10% alcohol. It is very aromatic. It's really, really beautiful on the nose.
Nice floral notes.
Very, very.
And just so you know what temperature we're serving these at, so they were in the cooler. So we're serving like both the Chardonnay and the Muscat are being served about 45 degrees. And I invite you to try every wine that you ever drink at room temperature and chilled. Red, white, sparkling, they taste different. And ours actually, you taste like a totally different wine as well, but you get more out of it, and it actually tastes great both ways. Now every wine does not taste great both ways, I will tell you that, but ours does. So.
And it's nice to take it to get it out of the fridge and let it sort of warm up in the room. Like today in California, it's really, really balmy. So, thank you. So this wine will, both the Chardonnay and the Muscat will warm up on the table, waiting for as we serve them, as we're enjoying them. So.
And yes, I'm using the Coravin because guess what? We're not gonna drink all three of these bottles of wine next week because we're doing 2 videos a week, and we can't open up all this wine and drink all this wine because it would be too much. Because we're still working.
See how really light it is? I'll put the napkin against the glass so you can see. You can see right through it. Really, really light color. Very, very, very light hints of yellow in it. And that again will also point you to the age. It will kind of give you a hint of the fruitness, the fruit forwardness of the wine. It is. I love this. Can I tell you guys a secret? So when I started crafting wines, when I said my wine tasting experience in California, Chardonnay was it. This was my go-to wine. Then I sort of moved away from Chardonnay because they got too buttery and too heavy. And so I started doing the Sauvignon Blancs and Pinot Grigios. And I was a little bit. I didn't like sweet wines. I really did not. I didn't care for the Moscatos. I didn't care for the sultans. I didn't care for all. I really did not. And then I tasted this Muscat. And I love this Muscat, especially when it's nice and cold on a warm day. I was gonna say warm summer day, but not quite summer yet. But it's a really, really balmy day in California. This is so refreshing. 10% alcohol again. You get those super tropical fruit notes in it. I definitely get passion fruit.
So let's step
It
back for a second.
is.
Let's step back for a second. So to give you an understanding of what she's talking about, because she kind of jumped over about five things when she said when she first tasted it. You got to get the grapes. So when you're hunting for grapes to make your wine, you're tasting the grapes, you're understanding what's in it, and you're pressing them and understanding what's in the juice
Mm-hmm.
to kind of get an understanding of what you're going to end up making after it's fermented. And you want to keep a certain amount of sweetness,
Right.
but you don't want it to be too syrupy and too sweet. So you don't want to make sure it's harvested too late in the game where it's just overloaded with sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're gonna have a higher alcohol content and it still be sweet. You got to really be able to balance it out. So
And
she'll tell you the first run.
yeah, right. And what he just mentioned to right there, what he hinted to right there with it being too heavy and too sweet, too sugary, being that syrupiness, a lot of times that's what gives people a headache. When folks are like, "Oh, I can't have sweet wines; it's too much," or "I can't have red wine; it just gives me a headache. I get nauseated." That sugar content, that super high sugar content, is what will typically make folks sick. And so this is really, really crisp, refreshing, very light. I had these when I was crafting this, when I figured out the right blend of Muscat grapes from the different farmers and what quantities goes where, I had this imagery of a wine that I was sitting outdoors in Nairobi and I was sipping on it with my girlfriends and we were just having the time of our lives and we were reminiscing. I have a really tight knit group of girlfriends. We went to high school together. We've been friends for decades. And so that is who I was envisioning serving this wine to. And so when I sip on this wine, it takes me back. And that's the beautiful thing about wine is it's those sort of subjective personal references. Like sometimes when I take a sip of it, it will remind me of a conversation that I had with somebody. It will remind me of a meal that I was having. It will remind me of the emotion that I was going through at that time. So it's those journeys that you're able to take with each glass of wine is what makes wine special. It's what makes these pours memorable and crafting extra special. Cheers.
Cheers.
So thank you for joining us today on Facebook Live and on Zoom. It is our Wachira Safari Wine Club where we get to talk to you a little bit more about our varietals. We invite different winemakers, those that we distribute, and we invite them over to share their journeys, their wine crafting journeys, to share with you what influences their winemaking. Every winemaker is completely different. They're as different as the different grapes that are out there, and as different as the wine regions that are out there. Because we all bring a little bit of ourselves to the table every time we craft these varietals. So that's what makes this Friday evening special for us. Cheers. What do you think about the Muscat?
I love it. I started my journey in wine with 1995 late harvest Riesling from in Livermore at Winte.
Mmm.
And it was my go-to, but being a college student, it was too expensive. So I could not do the cheaper sweet wines for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
but I love a late harvest Riesling. And then I graduated and I would start doing some ice wines. But then when I got down to LA, I got introduced to German Spätlese and Ostlese. So late harvest and late harvest Riesling. So I like a nice, balanced, sweet wine,
Hmm.
sauternes, whatever. And this is perfect for me. Because I remember trying to get you to drink a sauterne, and you was like,
No.
ice wine, the box is set here. You
I know,
know,
I know,
so,
I know, I
and you
know.
ended up making a wine that became your favorite, and it was sweet. I was just
That
so
is like,
surprised.
yeah, that was just like for me the biggest shocker. It really was, and it still is. It remains one of my favorites to this day. It really does.
Yeah, it was a good surprise for me. So, so I will tell those that are joining us, um, invite your friends, tell them to come join us.
I know it's Friday night, so a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
we have a lot of different things going on. The good thing about folks being at home and having all this access to technology and stuff is that we're building different communities all over the place. So it's a beautiful thing.
Hmm.
Sometimes I'll go online and there's all kinds of things going on, all kinds of live shows going on, and it's just it's refreshing. Folks are coming together in ways that we just didn't before, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very awesome actually.
Mm.
Hey. Who is this music? What is this music right here? I don't know this one. So, if you haven't noticed, we actually love music, food, and wine.
I do. I do love all things that allow you to express your culture.
Yes.
So I love fashion. I love fabrics. I love you can't tell today I'm in all black, but I do love African print. I love African kente cloth. I love African jewelry. I just love the vibrancy and the color. So and then the foods, I love foods that are just as vibrant and colorful in their in their flavors. So I like very aromatic spices and clothes. Sorry, the foods that have depth. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So I just can't do spicy. I can't do hot spicy, but I can do spice as in flavoring. But I just can't do it hot. And then I love music and dance, which is like one of the best expressions of culture. So, African music, my goodness, I double dare you to sit through an African beat. It was crafted to be moved on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I feel like I need to move on to the sparkling. And unfortunately, there's no way for us to do a Corvin.
Nope, you can't
You
Corvin a
cannot Corvin
sparkling.
a sparkling.
So that guess what that means?
You're gonna have to pop the bottle.
Yep, you got to pop it. All right, so let's get to that. And these wonderful fruits. All right,
So this is the lion
the
of the
lion of the
safari.
safari.
This is the king of the
Ask
Wachira
us your
bridle.
questions. Give us your feedback.
The sparkling is a brut. It's 100% Chardonnay grape, and it's from Lodi. And I am squeamish about the pop sound of a
Okay,
sparkling
so
bottle.
hopefully I do it right because the pop sound should not
It should
happen.
not happen if you
Okay,
do
if you
it
properly
correctly.
open
Yeah.
it, it should be like a little fist,
Yep.
whatever, a little whisper.
Okay.
Well, you're wrong. I wasn't as patient as I thought I was gonna be. Sorry.
That's all right.
Supposed to go a little slower and twist it softly and be a little more delicate. I'm not in a delicate mood, I guess.
That's good. That's good. Thank you. So again, looking at this, sort of visually, when you get served a glass of sparkling wine or champagne, for those of you who get it from France, from Champagne, France, we you look at the color. Start off with the color. Now do the paper test. Look at the size of the bubbles. and just how vibrant those bubbles are. So sometimes you don't want to get a wine, you don't want to get a sparkling wine that is just way too bubbly. Like the bubbles are just on steroids. Like that may not be good because that may overwhelm you on the palate. It may just be
Too
explosive and
much.
then just be too much. And so this has some nice, lovely bubbles, a nice stream of bubbles to the top, nice and tiny. That will tell you again. It tells you a little bit about the dryness of the wine, about the sugar that's in the wine. We'll try it for the notes
Uh,
again. Oh, okay.
Not too dry.
Not too dry. On the
Just
nose
on the.
again, you get those tropical notes. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
saying, you absolutely, that is one thing that is consistent across
So let
all
me
of our
put
white
forward a
varietals.
nice fruity and some floral notes. So what am I getting?
And it's a nice brute. So I'll let you talk about what you're getting on the nose first.
Some citrus.
Mhm.
What is that? I think pineapple. Yeah, I guess tropical. I can't even place it.
I was gonna tell you you'll definitely get banana.
Okay.
It's definitely in there.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting it. That's why I couldn't place it. It's amazing. You can drink the same sparkling or same wine over and over again, and you get different things, and it gets deeper every time you taste it.
Mhm.
Um, but on that palate, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful, and I love the way it rolls right through it. So you get that
You do
the
get a lot
sort
of
of this
banana on that.
you get yeah you get the sweetness of the wine, which is typical. You get the sweetness of the wine on your front palate, like right in the tip of your tongue, and you'll get that sweetness, right?
Just a very
And then
light
it
sweetness to it.
rolls.
It's a very light sweetness to it, but then you get that dryness too. It's
Yes,
like
you do.
really well balanced.
Yes, it is. And again, it is crafted to stand on its own. So if you're a sparkling wine enthusiast, I welcome you to try this. It's a nice brut, so it's dry, but it also has that extra dosage,
Hmm.
right? So it does have
A slight sweetness to it.
a slight sweetness to it, and you get those fruit notes, and you get them on the nose as well as on your palate. So it's very refreshing, and honestly seductively comforting. Does that make sense? Because that's how I feel. Like it's very
That works.
yeah, it's very familiar because it has for me the notes both on the nose and on the palate they take me back to things that are very familiar to me as a growing up as a child, all those tropical notes, all those tropical fruit. That's what it does for me. So it's very, very comforting. And I do enjoy this sparkling wine quite a bit. And then for those of you who like to craft mimosas, it's a great accompaniment for a lot of fruit juices.
Guava.
It does not overpower most fruit juices, so it's very tasty in a mimosa as well.
And when I actually go out to present it to different restaurants and different chefs, I have them show, especially if we're at the restaurants or the bars, I have them do a mimosa what they currently make a mimosa with,
Mhm.
whatever sparkling they use. And I have to say, okay, now make the same mimosa, same proportions with
Mhm.
ours. It never fails. 100% of the time, they're like, okay, that does taste a lot better.
Yeah.
Now, whether it's gonna be the same price point or not,
Mhm.
doesn't matter. It's about what you're getting, the quality.
Yeah. The grapes again are from Lodi, and that's why I mean it's nice warm climate. That's the tropical notes that you get in it. Um, what else can I say about this sparkling? It's a lion because it shuts down a party. It starts it and it shuts it down as well. It is the party in the bottle.
King of the Spark.
Yep.
You're definitely king of the Spark. It will let you know that you can start that party, and then when the party's supposed to be over, lift his head up,
Mhm.
Looks at everybody. All right, y'all can go.
And again,
Because
it's
that's what a lion does on a safari. On a safari, you'll
absolutely,
see him sitting
absolutely,
by himself
absolutely.
with his territory around him empty.
Hmm.
The glances he gives,
Soaking up the sun,
soaking up the sun.
just like the Lodi
And
Chardonnay
read
grape.
about back on the bottom, the lion is the most social feline of the safari,
Hmm.
and it communicates very well and very efficiently with everything around it. So the females know if it can come over or not, and he lets them know it's time to party.
Mm.
And when
Mar-
here
yeah,
we go.
Marcel, hey Ines, thank you for joining us. Marcel has a question for the muscat. Depending on what you're serving for an appetizer or dinner, can it be paired up front in place of being categorized as a dessert wine? Absolutely, Marcel. So great question, first of all. So the muscat, so it does have it's the sweetest varietal that we serve, and it does have that sort of reputation of being a dessert wine. But because of the crispness and the lightness of this specific muscat, it pairs beautifully with entrees. So if you have sweet and savory dishes, for those of you who like Asian food, the sweet,
Especially
yeah,
spicy.
sweet and savory, spicy Indian, Asian foods, it pairs beautifully with those. And it can also be served before the meal, right? So it does not need to be relegated to a dessert at all. But if you want to serve it with dessert, you're absolutely welcome to do that.
And if you're gonna do a
Yes.
dessert,
Hmm.
it's not so sweet to where it's gonna be sweeter than the dessert you're gonna serve. And you can do a very gourmet dessert where it's more savory than sweet.
Hmm.
So you can do like some young nectarines sautéed with some rum,
Hmm.
okay, over ice cream, and have that with it. You
Right.
know, or any kind of flambéed fruit with alcohol. I love doing like a mango with some cognac infused and like
Hmm.
soaked overnight, and put some butter and brown sugar and just burn it and just
Oh, what is that pie you make? The one that I absolutely love. The one that has the fruit in it.
the peach cobbler.
Peach cobbler.
Okay,
Oh
so I
my
do a
gosh.
peach cobbler
That
with
is
rum,
incredible with a
and,
muscat.
yeah, and
It's
I do a
incredible.
drop dough, not a
Yeah.
pie crust, because for me a peach cobbler is a drop dough. Cobbler, cobblestone. Now, but that, yeah, people would say, okay, then how do you have rum in it? How you gonna drink some wine with it?
It pairs
It works.
incredibly well.
It works.
And Patrick, thank you for joining us. So Patrick is throwing a shout out to the sparkling, saying it was definitely a keynote when he had it, and it is absolutely a keynote. It starts and ends a party with a bang. It is incredible. And again, it can be served at parties. You can serve it at brunch. You can serve it with dinner. I am a proponent for having a sparkling wine whenever you want to have a sparkling wine.
You can serve for
Serve it.
celebrating your mother on Mother's Day. Because
Oh,
if you
so,
order today, then
yep.
you actually can get to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
But you gotta order by midnight.
Or just
About 2 o'clock tomorrow.
serve it just because.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
it goes well with you by yourself in front of the TV.
Absolutely.
For
Absolutely
me,
does. It goes very well with some late night TV.
mhm.
It goes very well with Netflix and chill. It goes
It goes
well with
well with a nice
everything.
a white sangria with you know the muscat and the sparkling 50-50, and with some peaches, Asian pear. Um, you got to use peach, Asian pear. I don't tend to put pineapple in there. I'll use mango and not Granny Smith, but Fuji apples. Asian pear, Fuji apples, and mango and peach, and then maybe some white grapes.
Yeah, so Patrick just threw in, he's like, it goes very well after a long Corona day. Absolutely. Absolutely.
A long Corona day. I like that.
I feel you, Patrick, on that one.
I like that.
All right, folks, for those of you joining us, thank you. We are having the Wachira Safari Wine Club.
With the white, all of our whites.
All of our whites, three different varietals. We have the Buffalo, which is the Chardonnay of the Safari. And then the Muscats, which is the Leopard.
Leopard, aka Black Panther, because a Black Panther in African Asia is a leopard, black variant.
So we will call it the Leopard because this is an African safari after all. And then the Lion of the Safari, which is the sparkling white. Okay. Let us know if you have any questions. Give us Let us know for those of you who've had any of these varietals. What do you think about them? Which is your favorite? Which of the three is your favorite? And which one have you paired with what? Let me know. I'm curious about that. Do you want to talk to them a little bit more about, something else about whether it's
What's coming up?
pairings? Yeah, no, whether it's what
Pairings?
pairs with what,
Ah,
and glass a little more about
okay.
specific way.
So, well, I'll go here first. Okay, the Muscat. Since we're not going to be drinking all of the wine, so it's argon that goes into the bottle, inert gas, so it does not oxidize the wine at all. And it's a needle that goes to the cork, so basically it does not open the bottle. So if you can see, there's a needle that goes all the way through in, and I'm going to pull it up, and that's the needle, and it's out. Now, the cork will self-heal self-seal because it actually compacted into the bottle. And if you want to, you can just take it, your nail and press the top where the hole is and help it out a little bit. But basically, that bottle will now stay. Okay? And we're drinking out of our wine flutes for the champagne, for the sparkling. And this is our white wine. This is our white wine glass for the sweet aperitif. So you're not having a very large goblet at all. That's about 6 ounces. And so is this one, about 6 ounces as well.
Mm-hmm.
This is a white wine glass, so it's a little wider. So it's more of like a Chardonnay or a white Bordeaux or a nice white varietal that's dry. That actually will aerate a little bit because that's what's a wider base. So you actually have it more surface area for it to breathe a little bit. Because you don't need to aerate a lot of whites. Only like a white Bordeaux or like one or two different white varietals that age will need to be aerated. It still helps to let a white wine breathe a little bit. In an ode to Marcel, we're serving both the sparkling, not the sparkling, but the Chardonnay and the Muscat at about 45 degrees, and let it once again to the glass, probably around to about 50. So you're gonna be around about cellar temperature drinking all of these wines, except for the sparkling.
And all our wines are quote unquote Californian wines with a Kenyan accent. Which
Yes, I
means
love that accent.
the grapes are Californian. They're sourced from different growers here in California. And the palate, our style of crafting these wines is Kenyan. And what that means is it hinges very strongly on balance and being really good quality for a very affordable price. So our goal is to bridge those gaps that exist amongst us, and as in this day and age, there are a lot of gaps. There are a lot of things pushing people apart, but we can come together as a community, as somewhat toss our differences aside and agree on the basics: the Chardonnay wine, the Muscat wine, or a nice sparkling wine. So having conversations over glasses of wine or over bottles of wine is one of the things I really cherish.
Mhm. Oh, I forgot to send my mama the link.
Okay, let's make sure we send your mama the link so she can join us tonight. All right, I want to hear from those of you who've joined us online on Facebook Live or on Zoom. I want to know what you think about these three varietals. Which ones have you tasted? Which ones have you enjoyed? And what have you paired with them? Food friendly wines. How does this marry with our wines? So, food friendly wines. I would categorize this as food friendly. And the reason I say that is this: our wines are crafted to complement, they do not overwhelm, they do not take over sort of the experience. If you're pairing a wine with food, they do not take over your experience, your dinner experience or your lunch experience or your brunch experience. They complement the food. So you get to appreciate the notes and the flavor profiles of the wines, as well as the notes, the flavor profiles in the food or the meal that you're enjoying. So they complement food beautifully. Again, they complement a lot of different dishes. We went over the Chardonnay. It pairs beautifully with a lot of sort of heavy, saucy foods. You can do like a nice hearty salmon because of the richness of of the salmon. And then you can do a pasta with a nice creamy sauce. It pairs beautifully with that as well. The muscat, which is the leopard, may I please have the muscat, which is the leopard of the safari. This does not need to be relegated to dessert only. You can have it with your entree. You can pair it with a lot of the Asian dishes, dishes that are sweet and savory or spicy. It pairs beautifully with that. It complements them really, really well. The sparkling wine, any of your brunch meals, it pairs with dinners. It pairs with desserts. It pairs with cheeses. It's very complementary to a lot of different cuisine. Thank you for that question, Patrick. It was a good question. Khadija, thank you for joining us.
Hey,
Good to have you.
see Khadijah.
So let's get some
Love you,
questions
princess.
from you. I want to know if you've had our wines. So today we're featuring the Wachira Chardonnay. It's the Buffalo of the Safari. Featuring the Muscat, which is the leopard of the safari, and then the sparkling white, which is the lion. So all three varietals of Washiro wines, which are white varietals.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you who've ordered or tasted them in the past, please let us know how you love them, which was your favorite. What did you pair these wines with, or did you just enjoy them by themselves? Which they're crafted for that as well. They stand alone just great. Let us know. So I'm sipping on. I have a little bit of each of these wines in my glasses in front of me. And Chadwick was talking about the different wine glasses and why you serve in different wine glasses. And I'm also curious if you can just talk to them a little bit about why, when you're enjoying your white glass, right, your white
Mm-hmm.
wine, why do you hold it by the stem
So now warm it up.
and not at the base?
Because okay, a lot of people hold their wines like this. That's nice. Um, Specifically with whites, you don't want to get too warm. So your body temperature is going to be about 98 to 99 degrees. You don't want to warm your white wine up that quickly and have it being above room temperature at all.
So you don't want to transfer your body
Body
temperature
heat
to the wine
to
in
the
the
wine.
glass. And that's why
And
you hold it by the
and
stem.
that's why sparkling specifically you
Mhm.
can't really do that too well because it's
It's
a
awkward.
flute.
It's
It's
a little
awkward.
awkward to hold.
So
Yeah.
you really have to hold it by the stem.
Hi, Andy. Thank you for joining us.
And
Happy Friday.
most of our glasses actually have long stems. Okay, and like this is like just awkward for me. So I would say for if you have wine glass, you're gonna drink wine out of a wine glass that's not a stemless.
Hmm.
You want to hold it by the stem. Um, Most red wines, it's okay to have a stemless because you're gonna have it at room temperature anyway. And if you have a stemless, you're gonna put it down. You're not holding it. You're not walking around with it. So stemless typically are made for like at home,
Right.
and you're gonna put them down and not hold them the whole time. So it's okay. You're not gonna warm it up that quickly. Hey, thank you.
Any other
So,
questions?
what is your favorite white? And some of you guys can join us on WhatsApp. I mean, on Zoom in, Zoom, if you want to. I just shared that with the Zoom is. So, come with us on Zoom. We have a bottle ready. It's open, and what you're drinking, and we want to hear from you too. We don't want to be just us talking. This is not about just us. This is about all of you.
How do the various wine glasses alter the notes
Ah,
in the wines?
okay.
So when we're talking about the reds, for the red wines, it absolutely matters. It absolutely matters. It matters for this too, for the whites as well. But it's especially important for the reds because you do need that sort of base to allow the wines to spread out and aerate, gets as much oxygen into that red wine as
So
possible, especially when you swirl it.
so say for instance like a red wine, a Burgundy.
Hmm.
So if you want to look at a glass,
So we didn't have all these red glasses out today because we were not. Yeah, so he's gonna grab them. There we
so
go.
Burgundy glass,
Yep.
much wider, larger surface area, so it allows the wine to breathe. Okay, and that surface area is a lot wider, so you're wine breathing. Same thing with a red wine versus a white wine. That's a very stark difference because I wanted to go with a smaller ounce glass for because we're doing tastings and we're not trying to get we want to be able to talk to you without slurring our words. But this is a red wine glass that actually has a wide base to it. And it can actually swirl it. You can actually it is tall, so you can actually have about 6 ounces in here, a nice heavy glass, and still not, and swirl and still not slosh it anywhere. But also it will breathe in this glass. And one of the things about that is with this one you don't really it's the curve of the glass also when you're swirling it and getting particles from the wine to get so you can get the notes on your on the aroma the glass curves in, so it captures it, so it doesn't just escape. So with the Burgundy, it is going to escape a lot more. And maybe this one, give you an idea, this one may be more of a universal.
Hmm. Again, also the complexity of the red wines versus the white wines
So you look at
allows.
the
Yeah.
width of the base and how it narrows at the top. So it actually captures it. So when you put your nose in that glass, you're going to get a lot more on your nose than if it was a wide, the base and the top have the same
Sort of
diameter.
width, yeah.
Same diameter.
Hmm.
So you will still get some if the wine is down here, and you swirl it and you'll get on your nose. But this is going to be better for getting it on your nose. And you put your nose inside the entire glass to get and top, bottom, whatever you want to do, however you train. But it depends on what you're looking for out of the wine as well. But you have typical glass. You have your standard glasses for red, and then white, and then you have your burgundies and your sparkling and your apple juice.
Great question, Patrick. Thank you. Thank you for that. All right, folks, keep the questions coming. Would love to talk to you about wines,
And join us on Zoom.
and would love to talk to you about the different glasses.
Yeah.
A lot more wine education. Let's elevate your palate and elevate your experience.
Hey.
So after this COVID, the next time you step into a winery or tasting room, you'll be having a conversation with them about specifics.
Hmm. And holding your glass by the stem, you know, understanding why they gave you the specific glass they gave you, as well as what wines, in order, why you're drinking what wines in what order, as well. Hey.
So I've heard of different conversations about sometimes serving the sparkling at the start of a tasting versus at the end.
Hmm.
Why do you prefer to serve this particular sparkling at the end of the safari?
There's a slight sweetness. Okay, for two different reasons. A lot of sparklings that are served at the beginning are dry, and sparklings sometimes can cleanse the palate, but also can mess up the palate.
Right.
Okay, so I prefer it at the end, but also to give contrast because if you get that sweetness in the beginning and then you get the sweetness from our muscat at the end, it's hard to compare the levels of sweetness because when you
Hmm.
tell someone it's slightly sweet, this is actually the muscat is actually sweet,
Right, it
but
is.
not heavy. It's a
It's not
light sweet.
syrupy
It's
at all.
not
Yeah.
syrupy.
Right.
The sparkling is actually lightly sweet. So to do this after you do that, it gives a good contrast of the lightness yet slight sweetness of the sparkling.
So it's nice because it allows you sort of build. It's like a step, like you to build the steps to that to of the sweetness. It allows you to see that, like you said, the
Contrast.
contrast, the absolute contrast, and then also the Chardonnay at the very beginning of the safari, and then coming into reds. It allows you
Hmm.
to sort of appreciate the complexity of the reds, the tannins in the reds. and also how we build on from the Cabernet to the Zen.
Zen,
It also
and which is
allows, yeah,
atypical
it
because our
allows you
cab
to
is
do
actually lighter than our Zen.
that build as well.
So, like I said, it's a California wine with a Kenyan accent, but it's also a the wines have a different profile. The wine have a different profile, different kind of experience to where it's not going to be your typical California varietals in the order that you would get them because their profiles aren't the same as what you're used to. They're not going to be as dry or as sweet or as robust. Therefore, it has to go by taste, by profile, to where it's allowing your palate to adjust and understand each wine sufficiently. So it's a reason why any winery does their wines in a certain order. And if they don't have a reason, then that's kind of bad. But
All right, I was going to talk to you guys about so the different methods of crafting the sparkling wines, and well, why are some wines with bubbles called champagne and others called sparkling? Partially because if you're not, unless that wine is harvested, grown, and harvested and crafted in the Champagne region
of
in
France.
France, it is not a champagne. If it's crafted anywhere else in the world other than the Champagne region in France, it is a sparkling wine. And then you have the two different methods of crafting it.
Method Champenois.
And Chamon.
Mm-hmm.
So the different, so the Champenois is very well. They tend, first of all, they tend to be a little pricier for one because it's a very sort of labor-intensive process in the sense that the wines do actually have to age somewhere in the
In the
bottle.
bottle.
In the bottle. So it takes a little bit. You have to factor in that storage for aging because they have to have them sitting in a cellar somewhere to build that effervescence in the bubbles that you would expect from them. And then, but the Chamont method the wines tend to be younger because they're again, you want to talk about being forced into maturity, for lack of a better term, right? Because the secondary fermentation happens in a still tank, and then they're bottled, and the carbonation happens in the still tank, and then they're bottled, and then they're typically younger. They're a little bit more fruit forward than the Champenois method, and they are again, just because of the way they're crafted, they're a little bit better price wise. They're price friendlier, and then our sparkling wine is a Chamont method.
Now, what's the difference between a Prosecco?
And
Chamon.
well, for one, it's where it's crafted.
There you go.
Yeah, it's where it's crafted. It's specifically where it's crafted. But for those of you who've had Prosecco's and the ones who've not had the Wachira Sparkling, I will let you know that a lot of wholesalers prefer to have the Wachira Sparkling wine. So I'll welcome you
You
to
just
try
placed a
it.
mini Prosecco.
Yeah, I would welcome you to try it. It's a beautiful brute. Again, it's not overpowering. The bubbles are just right. They're nice and small and just enough. I'm gonna serve myself another pour. Just enough. It complements a lot of fruit juices very well, but it also stands
Completely alone.
on, yeah, completely on
And
its
it's
own.
happy by itself.
Yeah, look at those
It
bubbles.
doesn't get lonely.
I don't know if you can see the bubbles. Very, very light bubbles, but gorgeous color. I put a white napkin again so you can see right through it.
I think our light is washing it out. Let me see if I can.
You don't get to appreciate sort of that light straw
There we go.
color. Yeah. You get some nice, very elegant bubbles. You see that? They're not those huge, monstrous. It makes you look like the wine is boiling in the glass.
I mean,
Here's
it's
some
not going
very
to be that
nice,
Method
elegant.
Champenois tiny, tiny, tiny
Yeah.
bubbles either, because that's going to make it a really expensive bottle too. So
Right.
it's in line with everything that we do, being a high end every day, to where you can actually get it when you want it and
Right.
enjoy it, and it's better than the average, but it's not going to be overpriced.
Right. And again, because my goal has always been to get these products to just about everybody. If I can get this one of these bottles in every wine drinking table in this country, I would be very happy because I want to invite conversation. I want you to when you get the bottle of muscat and you when you receive this bottle, I want the curiosity to build to be like, hey, what is that? Is that a leopard? Is that a panda? What is
Is it a
that?
lion?
What
What
does
is
it
it?
mean? Why do they have it there?
And then you
Like,
gotta read the
and then
back.
you read the back and talks about the African leopard, and you get to learn a little bit more about my Kenyan heritage and the country that raised me, the heritage that informed the person that I am today. And so I invite you to try products, to invite them into your homes, to have conversations over dinner with our products. I am
Hmm.
extremely responsive on social media, on our email platforms. So I absolutely enjoy connecting with folks, and I enjoy meeting new people and introducing my products to them and introducing my experience
And I
to
just
them.
shared the Zoom link one more time because we're done basically presenting these wines. And we're gonna, we have a still have the gift the discount code MDAY. That's for Mother's Day 20. For if you want to order some stuff for Mother's Day, get 20% off. If we can deliver it on Saturday, if it's here. However, we want to invite those that are joining us right now to join us on Zoom with their bottles in front of them. Let's have that happy hour. Just have some fun. Understand what you're loving, what you're liking, and ask us questions.
Right.
Get to know, we want to get to know you too.
Right, and I want to get to know, for those of you that have tried our wines, like which of the three varietals is your favorite? What do you pair them with? Do you drink them by themselves? Are you like me? Do you love this muscat? With that 10% alcohol, this can be a slight problem because it's very, very easy to drink. It's extremely easy to drink. It's coined girlfriends in a bottle for a reason. It reminds me of my girls. It reminds me
Thank
of
you for
my
joining us,
girlfriends.
Jennifer.
Right. Oh, hi, Jennifer. How are you? How's your Friday? Happy Friday.
What are you sipping on?
Toast to the end of the week.
Yes. Hey. And what are you guys doing for Mother's Day? I know we all can't be with our mothers. Some
I
of us.
know.
I know I definitely can't. And that was our plan this year. So my calendar popped up. My mom made a request back in September of last year that we all come to South Carolina for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And to mom, I'm sorry I couldn't make it. Blame it on Corona. Um, but she knows I love her, and we sent her a little something. So, what are you doing in this Corona era for moms? Everybody has a
What are you
mother, and
doing?
if your mother has already passed, remember the woman that she was that made you who you are today. And that's the biggest thing that we can always do is always
Absolutely.
give thanks to
Absolutely.
the mothers that have us here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm especially blessed because I have my mom close enough to where I'm not going to walk into her house because I'm also trying to keep her safe. She's in that demographic. So I will do a drive by and a drop off. I'm gonna do a care package for her and drop it off. And so it's I'm blessed to be able to do that. So and I do recognize that there are a lot of us around the country and around the world that are not able to, we're not close enough to our mothers that you can do a drive by and drop off something. For those of you that want us to, send your mom something nice to enjoy, if your mom appreciates wine or loves wine, hit us up. We have that M Day 20 discount going, which allows you to get
But then
20%
make
off.
sure at least give her a call.
Absolutely.
And if you know a mother that
Absolutely.
you know, we're going to be calling and sending some texts out to mothers that we know that may not have their kids in the area or whatever, but just reach out to those that you know that are mothers I have friends that are mothers that I'm gonna reach out to them. The kids are young, but it's a day to remember and be thankful for who we have in our lives. And thankful those mothers that are raising their kids and creating great citizens for this country and for the world.
Right.
So it's a day to think about. So actually, you should always think about our mothers always. Number one.
Mothers are
Um,
incredible.
yeah.
Mothers, oh my gosh. Like I sometimes I sit back and I mean I think about my mom and just I mean I have a daughter. I have one baby, one daughter. My mom had three, and this I mean the things that you would sacrifice as a mom, the things I've had to sacrifice for this for just for this one child, and just thinking that my mom had to do it three times over, like it's for me it's incredible. It's incredible, and just to see just the amount of strength and grace and grit and just tenacity just to show up every single day day after day, like
Resiliency.
it's just that resilience is just it's incredible. So I have a very deep and a special appreciation for my mom, and I'm sure most of you all you are
Same for your
too,
mothers.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm especially looking forward to celebrating her this Sunday, and I mean we celebrate her every day,
Yeah.
but especially for this Mother's Day. Yeah.
We should do that 7 o'clock shout out for mothers. There's no other front line. That's the first front line is mothers.
That's the very first front
The
line.
very first front line.
Yeah. Yes, it
Hey.
is. Yes, it is. So how was your Friday, folks?
Yeah. How's your Fridays?
Sal, how are you? How was your day? Patrick, how was your Friday? Jennifer, how was your Friday? Hey, Alan Scott, you
Hey.
still there? Let me know. How was your Friday? Are you already sipping on something? Are you doing a cocktail? Miss Khadijah,
Are you
how's your
still there,
Friday?
Khadijah? Hey.
It's really, really special. It's really nice and to be able to connect with everybody
Can I make you
virtually.
something for Mother's Day?
Virtually. It's really nice. I'm sorry, something like what?
Something that you like?
Okay.
Malibu's.
Oh, right now?
No.
Oh. I was going to run through, just gonna stick with the wines right now.
Okay.
Partially because I've had a sip of all three and I still have some Chardonnay going.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me take it just a little easy.
Little
Yeah.
easy.
Just a little easy.
Little easy. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll make something for you tomorrow with dinner.
Yeah, that'll be cool. That'll
All
be
right.
nice.
All right.
That'll be nice.
That works.
Yeah. Let me.
So this is our Mother's Day edition, I guess.
Mhm.
To say, although we are going through the social distancing and mothers are distanced from us right now for some of us, and some of us, our mothers are not with us. But reach out to a mother near you, whether it's your mother or not, and let them know that they're appreciated for the job they've done with the kids they've raised or the kids they have and they're raising. Um, because the hardest job there is in this world is being a mother and being responsible for the lives that you brought into this world. And
It's
never
one
being
of those jobs that never ends.
is it never
Yeah.
ends.
It's a 24/7, 365 and 66 in some years. So, yeah.
And a lot of us don't. I mean, for me, I can speak for me. You don't realize how much, and not just your mom and father too, but it's like you don't know how much you really appreciate your mother and the things that she's gone through and the things that she's dealt with. Because yeah, nobody's easy. I mean, I realize when I'm with you, it's like I ain't the easiest person in the world,
Oh, me
you
neither. It's
know.
just
But you're a mother too. I'm not a
right,
mother.
right,
Okay,
right.
you have a wonderful daughter that's a beautiful child,
Hmm.
smart, intelligent,
Absolutely. She's
beautiful
such a
young lady,
blessing.
and she's a
She's a
blessing. She's
real
a good
blessing.
kid,
She's a real blessing.
and you have a man in your life that is, a big kid. You know, I'm a big kid. I like having fun. I do my thing too. But hey, but you do a lot as a mother. You know,
But you know what's interesting is this. So I don't. a lot of times you don't even realize it. You just do, right? Because that's just
But see,
not
that's what
that's
mothers
what
do.
most mothers do. That's just not natural instinct. You know what's interesting though? I've always said this. Like I feel like my little girl, my daughter coming into my life was sort of my saving grace because it forced me to focus and to to I have to pick a direction and stick to it. There was just not I ran out of time to hobnob. Like there was no more jumping around and trying to figure,
Figure things out.
things out. No, I
You have you
had to.
figured.
You had to be fierce, and then you had to go. Like that's like in a sense, I think I thank that about motherhood and the fact that it made me grow up and me grow into the person that I am today, and it continues to do that. Because quite honestly, as a mother, I learned something new about mothering every day. I can honestly tell you that.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
I've
Yes.
seen you
It is.
learn in real
I'm
time.
learning, and it's those transitions as your as your children are growing and allowing them, sort of allowing them to be their own people and not trying to force them to be um, many not
Versions of you.
versions of you, right? So it's just allowing them to be who they are and
And they're going
allowing
to
them
be.
to grow and stumble and fall, but being there to sort of help them dust off, not always catching them before they fall, because we may not always be able to catch them before they fall, but just knowing that if they stumble and fall, we're going to be there to dust them off and help them back on their feet the best we can and support them and get them flying off the coop again, and just keep learning and growing and stuff. So just some of those lessons and those life experiences they happen over time, and I'm constantly learning. I'm a life learner. Yes. I'm constantly learning and appreciating the lessons as I go.
Exactly.
Yes.
We all learn. There you go.
And a good glass of wine helps
Every
every
day.
day.
Especially it's made by beautiful hands.
So let me hear from the rest of you folks who are joining us, who've joined us tonight. Those of you who are out there,
Mm-hmm.
Mother's Day is coming up. Share with me in the comments or on Zoom. Let me know what some of your favorite memories of mom, some of your experiences with mom, some of the for those of you who have the luxury. Hey, Ellery! Oh, it's so nice to have you join us. How have you been? I think Ellery just had a birthday.
Yes, she did. Happy birthday,
Happy
Ellery.
belated. Happy
Hey,
belated
join us on the
birthday.
Zoom, Ellery. Join us on Zoom with a
what are
bottle in your hand if you can.
what are you drinking? I'm gonna pin this.
Hey,
How you doing, Ellery? How's your Friday? Happy Friday, girl.
it's your
Thanks for
birthday
joining us.
weekend.
It's your birthday weekend. It's Mama's Day weekend. Oh, Marcel, your mom introducing you to Carlos Rossi.
Ah, loving that, loving that.
Hashtag town business.
Exactly, exactly.
All
So
right.
that brings me to the question: what is your mama's drink? Okay, it may not be her drink anymore because she might be older, like so some folks' mamas. But my mother's drink for most of my life was Bailey's Irish cream.
Oh,
When you're growing up
I
and your
love Bailey's.
parents have their, my dad was Chivas Regal. He no longer drinks at all. Chivas Regal. My mom was Bailey's Irish Cream.
I love Bailey's.
Um, uh, one of our godfathers, John Carson, Pookie. His was Tangeray. Rest in peace. Love that brother. And I could run down the different uh, parents' friends and what their individual drinks were because you knew what was in the liquor cabinet from my daddy's liquor cabinet, and in the line that the actual liquor didn't move until that person came over.
Oh.
because he had a bottle for each of his buddies and my mom's friends that would come over. Each of them, almost all of them, drank something different.
Nice.
So
Wow.
we had a liquor cabinet,
Very extensive. Must
and
have been
no,
an extensive selection then.
it was a
Very
cabinet.
yeah.
It was literally a cabinet by itself, two shelves, and it had to be the Tangeray and grapefruit juice.
Mhm.
Nobody in my house drank grapefruit juice,
Wow.
but that grapefruit juice was in the refrigerator to go with that Tangeray.
Wow.
No, Seagram's. I'm sorry, it was Seagram's.
Seagram.
It was Seagram's. Okay. So my mom's drink was Bailey's Irish Cream. My dad was Chivas until he stopped drinking. My mom doesn't really do Bailey's anymore. She does our Muscat.
Oh, nice.
So that's why she gets about half a case or case every 2 to 3 months, every quarter. Because folks that come to the house end up drinking her wine too. So she ends up running out when other folks start drinking. But she likes her
The
Wachira
Muscat.
wines Muscat.
Nice.
That
Nice.
made me feel good that we make something that my mom transitioned to.
Yeah.
So, what does your mother drink? What
What's
is
your
her
mom's favorite drink?
exactly?
Let us know. My mom doesn't drink any alcohol right anymore. She used to drink wine when I was growing up.
The Manischewitz?
Yeah, but yeah, she doesn't. Like she will,
Mm-mm.
she may. I don't know. I don't even think she'll sip on it at all. Like she doesn't drink alcohol at all anymore. Yeah. My mom likes herself a good old cup of Kenyan tea.
Yep.
That she will do.
Kenyan tea.
Yeah. And she's very picky about her teas too. So it's gotta be a Kenyan tea. And we discovered they have this Kenyan tea that is repackaged in Ireland that is sold at Trader
Yes.
Joe's. So
Yes. A lot of black tea from England and Ireland
mhm.
actually is Kenyan tea. So people don't realize, you got
Kenya is one of the number one
producers
tea
of.
tea producers in the world.
Yep.
Really good quality tea. Sorry, shout out to my home country.
There we go. Kenya got a lot of stuff coming out.
No, it does. It's a pretty incredible country if you think about it. Like, I mean, right now we have a lot of, I mean, due to like sort of globalization and all that good stuff, you can find a lot of these wild animals, sort of exported and showcased in different, like wildlife encampments and
Oh, you're
wild
not.
parks and whatnot. But for you to be able to go to find the big five in
You're
its
not going to the,
natural,
the Tiger King, are you?
no, in its natural habitat, to find the big five in its natural habitat, you would have to be in Kenya, on the continent of Africa, in Kenya specifically, like you will find
All five.
all big five. I mean, it's such
Some
a
countries you won't find
beautiful
all five.
country between the hills and the valleys and the mountains, the wildlife, the agriculture, the horticulture, the tea, the coffees, the flowers, the people, the food, the music. Like it's just it's incredible. Sorry, I digress. So today we're featuring Wachira wines, which is a Californian wine with what?
Kenyan accent.
Kenyan accent.
So,
Can't shake
so
that
this
Kenyan
Friday we're
accent.
going over our three wines. So I'm gonna give you a little teaser.
Yeah.
Next Friday, we're gonna be going over white wines and some rosés. That we're gonna actually come back to these and show you a little bit about those as well and how they compare. But they're not anywhere in the same ballpark. So you're gonna have other wines from other makers, and those makers are going to join us next Friday. So tell your friends, tell your family, join us next Friday. We're gonna have Wachira wines, our three whites,
Yes.
a rosé and a white from another maker,
Mhm.
and then some other whites and a rosé from another maker, and they will be joining us on Zoom.
So
So
we'll have
you
three
don't want to
winemakers
three
next Friday.
winemakers who have a whole bunch of wine. You
Hmm.
don't want to miss it.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss it. Hey, decide,
Decide.
decide, 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 decide.
So we're gonna be wrapping up here at in what 23 minutes.
It's 7.
So yeah, we encourage you, for those of you who've joined us on Facebook Live or on Zoom, let us know if you've tasted our wines, especially the three that we're featuring here today. Which is your favorite? What do you like about it? What have you paired with it? How you serve it? You serve it room temperature? Do you like it chilled? How cold do you like it?
Exactly.
All that good stuff. And then for those of you who haven't had our wines before, I invite you to,
Mm-hmm.
right? All
Oh.
our wines hinge on balance. That's that Kenyan accent that we were talking about. They're all relatively fruit forward, so they're bottled young. All of them are,
Mm-hmm.
and so you get to enjoy those the fruity notes, right, in each of them. And they all hinge, especially the white. They all hinge on that tropical fruit flavor. Again, they have that that those fruit notes are tremendously comforting to me. Again, was we were talking about the different wines, the things you get from different wines as far as terroir is concerned, as far as the winemaker technique is concerned, and as far as the winemaker influences are concerned. So for my particular winemaking technique, my wines will all feature those tropical fruit notes because that is what is familiar for me and what is comforting. That is what I grew up on, that is what I enjoy, and that's what I want to bring to your tables for each and every one of
I can't follow that up, but I can follow this up.
you. What are you
So this
doing?
is our sparkling. Now we don't carry this one. This is one of my
From
things that
his
I like, and
personal
I found
collection.
personal collection. Marcel might remember this one. It's from Refine. It's a distillery in Paso Robles. Um, Kumquat liqueur. I'm using that to actually add to the sparkling. It is beautiful, and not much is needed. It is sweet, but the kumquat flavor of this thing is remarkable. So it's refined, handcrafted kumquat liqueur.
I like the dance in your glass right now
I
because
know,
the
right?
camphor just blends into the sparkling.
Yep.
And there you go. It's all nice and blended now. It was really interesting.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh wow. Can I try some? I'll try a little bit. I'll try a little bit of the camphor in my own glass of sparkling wine here. Thank you very much.
But it's 40% alcohol.
I will just do a dash of it.
Okay.
A little splash of the camphor in it.
It's slightly sweet, but not too sweet because it does have a high alcohol content. So you don't need much. So you're getting that kumquat flavor without too much sweetness.
And again, that also speaks to what we were talking about earlier about as far as our sparkling is concerned. It's great on its own. It stands beautifully on its own. But if you want to pair it with fruit juice or like you just did now, blend it with a liqueur, it is very complimentary. It's a brute and with slight sweetness to it, so it does not overpower the fruit
Anything.
juices or any of the other mixes that you may add to it. And what we'll typically do sometimes when we want to get really creative, is we'll take our sparkling white, and we'll take our Cabernet Sauvignon, and we will craft a sparkling rosé.
So it's a
So
Safari
sometimes we'll
Safari
do that.
Rosé.
Yes. So
It's a
sometimes
Safari
we'll
Rosé.
get crafty and make a safari rosé for brunch or for just hanging out.
Whenever. Yeah. We got a call for that this week actually. Somebody went to shout out to Fern
That's a
Stroud,
really
Black
interesting story.
Vines. The lady tried our rosé at the table, so evidently we were blending it at the table, and she didn't realize it wasn't in a bottle. Um, and one thing people don't realize is majority of sparkling rosés are actually blends. So 80% of sparkling rosés on the market are actually blends. So mixology is mixology. Blending is blending. As if you've ever been on a wine tasting blending tour, they'll blend the wines in front of you out of the barrels or out of different decanters they have in the lab that they're showing you how they're blending the wines. So just like she blends our Zen. So it's literally blending a rosé at the table, and it's like a 1 to 5 ratio. 1 part the cab and 4 parts the sparkling, and it's a nice, wonderful, you know, like strong pink hue.
This is really, really fragrant. Oh
I
my
know,
goodness, it's
I know.
incredibly fragrant.
That kumquat is nice.
We may have to just recreate some of these things when when outside opens up again. I keep hearing that phrase, and I find it, I just find it so comical.
Outside
But
opens up.
when outside opens up again, because outside ain't closed.
It is not closed, no.
It's not, we locked up on the inside, but outside's still open. But anyway, but when we get permission to head back outside and meet all of you in person and serve you some of our delicious wines here, I think we may have to recreate some of this mixes, some of these
Hmm.
cocktails. And it's very refreshing, very fragrant.
Very.
All right, folks. So thank you so much for those of you who joined us today on Facebook Live, on Zoom.
Zoom.
It's been great talking to you about our three white varietals: our Chardonnay, which is the buffalo in the safari; our Black Label Muscat, which is the leopard in the safari; and the lion of the safari, which is our sparkling white. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me into your time, into your Friday evening space. I would love to connect with you again in real time when we get permission to get back out there. I'm looking
We'll
forward
be
to it.
announcing how you can come give us a hug. Once again,
I don't know if they're gonna quite let us hug each other yet. We may just
give us
need
an air hug,
to do
okay?
the elbow thing. We'll
Give
just
us an
the
elbow in
yeah.
first, all right?
Fist bump.
Fist bump,
Yeah.
air fist bump. But
It's great.
enjoy the king of the safari, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Much love from us to you and your families and your mothers, and stay safe.
Be safe out there, please. For those of you that are frontline, thank you. Thank you,
Thank you
thank
for
you
all that
for
you do.
everything that you're doing every single day to keep this country and to keep us going. All right?
All right.
Happy Mother's Day
Happy Mother's
to all
Day.
of you.
And if you need
Thank
anything
you.
from us, if you order today or by time morning, M Day, like Mother's Day, M Day 20 will be 20% off. Whatever you want to order, if it's within 15 to 20 miles, we will deliver it for free.
We'll deliver it tomorrow, Saturday,
Tomorrow,
to make sure it's
Saturday,
there in
to
time
make
for
sure it's there.
Mother's Day.
If you're within 15 to 20 miles of Alameda, California.
Yeah.
If you're not within 15 to 20 miles of Alameda, California, it will be shipped. And it won't get there till about Monday or Tuesday. So, but you still get your M Day 20 discount.
Tracy just says she loves the muscat. Thank you,
Oh,
Tracy.
thank you, Tracy.
It's my favorite baby, Tracy.
It is.
It is my favorite.
We appreciate all of you. Show some thanks and appreciation to the mothers in your life, whether you're a mother or a mother that you know. Let's reach out for the next few days, and especially on Sunday, and let those mothers know that you love them,
Right.
thinking about them, and if they need anything, you're there for them. And stay safe, look out for each other, and be ready to be that community that we're trying to be now.
Right.
When we don't have to be, let's continue to be that. All right. And that's all I have to say.
Yeah. That sounds like enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Thank you so much, folks. Have a good evening. Have a good night. Take care. Be safe.